Hey y'all, peace fam. I'm really glad that I get to go live today. It's just a few more weeks and then I will be able to go live more often. But I saw that there was a gap in my schedule and I was like, baby, I gotta go live. I gotta go live. Like I wanted to go live yesterday. It's just so much going on. And y'all gotta bear with me because some of it I'm still processing. Just like you, I'm processing some of the stuff because there's still a lot of things out there. So there's a lot that I want to talk about today. We'll see what we can squeeze in this time. Matter of fact, let me set my little timer here. Child, we're definitely the main topic today is definitely going to be about the shooting at the Trump rally. We're definitely talking about that. And then I want to get into a few other things that I've noticed in the media. Mainly, they seems to be have been a lot of celebrity deaths recently, within the past few days. But yeah, y'all, it's so much going on. There is so much stuff going on. This is crazy. So first, I want to say thank you to whoever's here. Shout out to the people on the replay. I hope all of you are having a good start to your week. It's Monday. Not much. We don't know what our week's gonna look like yet, but we know that yesterday was a little cray cray. I've been really trying to not pay much attention to too much Trump stuff. The first election with Trump, I I felt like I got way too immersed and it impacted me, still impacts me to this day, but just I just felt like I was tossed to and fro with every news article, every headline, and I just really tried to remove myself this time from consuming too much stuff about Trump. And I actually see people losing their minds about so much stuff, and being contradictory. You already know if you've been here for a while. Matter of fact, if you haven't been here for a while, you already know where I stand with him. It's no secret. Okay, it hasn't changed. And sometimes it makes people mad. I don't care because I'm gonna be authentic. I'm gonna be myself. Now, do I think people should vote for who they want to vote for? Absolutely. Okay, but I'm gonna keep it real around here. Okay, and so today, as we process some of this stuff, I'm processing it with you, like I was saying. Some of these are like semi filtered thoughts. I've really tried to think about what I want to say and how I want to say it because you got to be careful about some things. But I want to be authentic, guys. I want to be real in my response about how I feel, and yeah, child, this is what's gonna be. It's pretty crazy. So, first of all, I don't know how you guys are feeling. How are you being impacted by this news? A lot of my viewers are in the States because that's where I started my YouTube channel. So, I would not be surprised if most of you guys are impacted, by what happened yesterday at the rally. But I have a small Canadian following, but most of my subscribers, I believe, are from the US. Child, I still can't believe that this happened. Um, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about my initial responses to watching the video because I don't remember what I was doing, but I came across the video. I might have came across it on Lipstick Alley, or no, I think something popped up on my phone. Something popped up on my phone, and I was like, "What? This sounds crazy." And then I went to Lipstick Alley and I watched the video, and at first I laughed, guys. At first I laughed because I was like, "This isn't real." Like I didn't think he actually got shot. I chuckled because I was like, "Okay, this is weird. What's going on?" And my first thought, I kid you not, my first thought was, "Why is his fist closed? Did he just like squeeze ketchup on his ears or something?" I was just thinking crazy stuff. And then as I was reading more articles and I was watching, I was like, "Oh no, this like something really happened." So I took a step back and then I started to like wait for some details to come in, and man, has it been crazy. So I don't know what your initial reactions were, but mine I kind of chuckled because I was like, "Is this real? Like, is this a joke?" Yeah. So, first thing I want to say is at a first glance, I've really been practicing, especially this year. What am I going to call it? Self preservation. I've been practicing self preservation as it relates to media and as it relates to people who generally don't give a crap about me or people like me. And what does that look like? Well, I've talked about in my last video and in many other videos, I've talked about my stance on how I react to the Ukraine situation, just really least energy type of thing. Not that I don't care about people, not that I don't have compassion, but after some of the news that has come out of that country about racism and different things, I had decided that I was going to take a step back, conserve my energy, and really focus on myself and the people in my life that matter. Because one of the things is, I think, I'm not even going to say we, but I know I've spent a lot of energy on people who just don't give a fuck about me or my family or people that look like me. So I'm trying to practice a fine line of having compassion for people, but also conserving my energy and practicing self-preservation. And what that looks like in this instant is, well, and also I'm trying to practice authenticity, right? That's something that's important to me. So I want to be honest, but I also want to reflect compassion to some degree. Now, first off, let me say this: people should be able to go to public events and not worry about getting rat-a-tat-tatted, pow-powed, period. It doesn't matter if you're going to the grocery store, if you're going to a religious service, if you're going to a concert, if you're going to a political event. You should be able to go to those things without fear of some type of shooting or something like that, right? Which unfortunately in America, these type of mass shooting situations just happen far too frequently. That being said, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Now, no, I wasn't rooting for something to happen to him. However, I feel like so many things have happened, and this is on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, in terms of shootings, in terms of mass shootings, where they just don't give a crap about people. And there's been so much stuff, and people are asking for the bare minimum. Like, how about you just not let people have access to automatic weapons? Like, how about that? How about not have an AR-15 or, an AK or something like that? And they can't even do that. The politicians can't even do that, guys. And so when I see situations like this, I'm like, some people don't, it doesn't make sense to them until it hits close to home. Some people, they're not willing to make changes. They're not willing to think about somebody outside themselves until it hits close to home. And for me, I feel like, this dude was using I believe it was the AR-15. Look at, it was only like a few shots and look at what happened, right? And I still don't think it'll change anything because they're all in bed with the NRA, especially Trump. But that was my first thing. Is like, yeah, I don't care when stuff happen to people. Shootings happen every day. Okay, you just happen to be a former president of the United States. That's number one. Number two, I would be dishonest if I said that I didn't believe that most of the people at that rally probably can't stand my guts because I'm black, because I'm a woman, like, because I'm a liberal, like, because of all of those things. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I'm also not going to lose sleep over this event because a lot of these hating ass people feel emboldened to do a lot of wickedness. And, a lot of these rallies are just a cesspool of hate. And so it's like, while I don't want things to happen to people, while I think you should be able to go to public places and enjoy yourself and not worry, I'm also not going to be broken and shaken up about the fact that this went down because I truly believe that a lot of the people who attended that shit probably don't give a crap about people that look like me. And I'm just being dead ass. Like, once again, I said that when I did this live, I want to share how I've been practicing self-preservation and also authenticity. And so I think those two things, like, it was shocking to see because, we live in an era where we haven't, people from our time, like, we haven't experienced any assassination attempts because that's what it seems like it was, if we think it's real, because some people think it's a setup. I'm going to get into that. So it is mind-boggling and it is very shocking that somebody would attempt this. But there's a lot of things that don't make any sense to me at all. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, but I wanted to be honest about my emotional response towards what happened. I was watching a video of somebody's body being carried away, and at first, because they hadn't identified the shooter, I thought it was the shooter's body that they was carrying away. And I think this footage was from Twitter. It's really crazy what access we have now to certain things because it wasn't blurred. It wasn't muted. Like, you know how they like change the color of the blood or whatever. And here's this man. I see this man being lifted up by like some type of police officials, maybe it was Secret Service. I have no idea. And they were just taking his body away. And I can tell that there was a mixture of horror for the people who were surrounding, who had to see that, and shock and fear. And it was just that stood out more to me than the actual event. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, here's this man with a bloody face, bloody head. I thought that was him because they said they had shot, the perpetrator in the head. So I thought it was him. And I was just like, damn, like that's crazy to have to sit next to somebody's body, or to be in the vicinity where you could have gotten shot. So this particular person, that was the guy who died. Because I think two people were injured and they're okay, I think, or stable. And then that guy died. And they said that he died shielding his wife and his kids, which is pretty honorable. And I believe he was a firefighter. I believe he was a firefighter. So, that was interesting watching that video. But I think way too much stuff is available online. And then it took a while to find footage of the shooter. So back to the initial thing. You're watching this video and Trump is going off doing his usual thing. And, all of a sudden you hear these shots ring out and he grabs his ear and then he ducks, right? And then I think when he gets up, there's blood on his face and stuff. We don't know, what it's from initially. And then all you see is the Secret Service come and they just like dive bomb his body, like to protect him. Because that's what they are, human bullet proof vests, basically, or they're supposed to give their life, for whoever they're protecting. In this case, a former president, a presidential candidate. And I did find that fascinating. I found it fascinating that the Secret Service, like that is your job. Like that's crazy to me. Just watching them surround him, was amazing because it was like, yo, like if shooting was still happening, they could have gotten hit. And then I also thought to myself, I was like, yo, like they must be so annoyed at this man because it almost seemed like there was a struggle in trying to get him away from the stage. So after he ducked and he stood up, it's almost like he was fighting to get his hands through the crowd of the Secret Service men and women and to put this fist up. And this is what I think made, for me, I think this is what made people feel that it was staged, because it's like, you almost died. Sir, we don't even know. Like, it seems like you got shot. You're trying to do a photo op right now. Like, it was weird for me. Like, if I was a Secret Service member, I would be annoyed, but I wouldn't have that job because I'm not going to be no human bulletproof vest. At least not for somebody like that. It would be somebody that I love and care about. And it was just like, are you serious? Like, you're fighting to like do a photo op right now. And I heard he was even asking for his shoes. Like, he just sounds like such a difficult person. Imagine you put your life on the line for somebody. Imagine you're trying to protect that person's life and they just make your job so fucking hard. These are my perceptions to what was happening. And so, eventually I guess he was carried off. And we find out that he was, I think a bullet did graze his ear. There's all kinds of speculations. There's still stuff coming out. So who knows? The story might change again, right? And then we find out that, he was shot by somebody on a roof. And, and that a sniper, a Secret Service sniper is the one that took out the shooter. And I want to know, I have so many questions because I'm like, well, if the Secret Service sniper is the one who took out the shooter from an elevated position, why didn't you see this person before? You had regular people from John Public who spotted the dude on the roof. Now, let's talk about that. They said that, and this is true because I saw video footage of this. There were multiple people, at least 3, maybe more people who were calling attention to somebody laying on the top of a roof. And it looks almost like one of those, is it a sea can? What do you want to call it? What are those things called? I can't think of the word right now, but he's laying on top of this roof. And this dude is 20. For him to be such a crazy shot, I'm just like, what have you been doing your whole life? Have you been training for this event since age 2? Because this is kind of crazy. So I've seen video of people pointing out that there's a man on a roof. And they said that in one of the videos, somebody had alerted, I don't know if it was a police officer or Secret Service, and they said they just paid them dust. They didn't really take it seriously. Now, this is what I think about that. At first glance, I don't really think that's suspicious because I thought to myself, gee, if my job is to protect somebody really important, you can't just be listening to everybody trying to get your attention. So I was thinking maybe people were saying that and, they have to remain where they're at. But why wouldn't you send somebody to check it out? I did think it was weird that it wasn't checked out. I don't know the time frame, but it wasn't long before the actual shooting occurred. So this happened prior to the shooting. People were telling the police or the Secret Service or whoever that this man was on the roof. Then we hear the shots ring out, and guys, there's so much crazy footage. There's a video of this woman. I was watching Lovely T's video this morning, and there's a video of this woman behind Trump. She puts up a sign in front of her face moments before the shooting, puts down the sign, shots ring out. She doesn't duck. Everybody, you literally see all the heads go down. This woman is still there. And then she proceeds to take her phone out to record. And I'm like, this is so crazy. I just think it's crazy. We live in a crazy time. Now, when crisis happens, we don't know how we're going to respond. There's a lot of us who we think we know what we're going to do, but the truth is in some situations, you don't know how you're going to respond until it happens, right? And I still find it absolutely ridiculous that this woman never ducked and that she, just pops her phone out and begins recording. That's crazy. So then at moments after that, like I said, he got shot in the ear, or he got grazed, and then the sniper took out this guy. And again, why did the sniper not seize this person? How did people not see? How do you clear the area and make it safe, but you don't check? Hey, TMC, thanks for being here. How do you clear the area, but you don't check roofs and stuff? This wasn't a high ass roof, guys. This was I can't think of what is the name of those containers? It's bothering me. But that's what it reminded me of. It was either a trailer or it was one of them containers. I want to say it was a sea can, but there's another name for it. But anyway, I think it's weird. I think it's weird that that area wasn't cleared. Perhaps he climbed up later. I don't know. But once again, like I said, I was being honest. For those of you who are just coming in, my initial response to this, if I'm being completely honest, is because I want to practice authenticity and I've been practicing self-preservation, is that when some of these events happen, these same politicians, okay, all they have is a dry ass thoughts and prayers. Okay, they don't change the laws. People are asking for meager things like just don't give people access to automatic weapons, and they can't even do that. And so sometimes it takes it being close to home for people to get it, right? And I still don't think anything would change, by the way. I don't think they're going to change any gun laws because of this, because people are in love with their guns. And so the other thing is the Republicans, I feel like when tragedies happen in certain communities, they don't care. So why should I'll speak for myself, be broken up, other than the fact that you should be able to attend public things without fear of harm. You should be able to do that. I think that hands down, it doesn't matter who's going. I don't think you should have to be worried about shooting and things like that. But on the other hand, most of the people at that rally probably hates my guts. So I'm not really going to lose sleep over it. Like, I'm just going to be honest about it. And so it's just, yeah, I just, for me, I feel like I've spent too much time caring about people that don't give a damn about me. Okay. I do think we should practice basic compassion, but I also think in cases where we know that a lot of these MAGA people cannot stand Black people. Okay. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. Hey, most of them made it out fine, unscathed. I'm sure that firefighter guy went there and he thought he'd be fine and he would come back and stuff like that to his family, but he didn't. Very crazy. Now, here's another layer. I find it interesting that some of the Republicans, some, not all, are twisting themselves into a pretzel because they can't believe that the shooter has been identified as a Republican. He's a registered Republican. Now, I have no idea why somebody from the Republican Party would want to take out Donald Trump. I'm so confused, but I'm sure we're going to get more details in the coming days and weeks. He's a registered Republican. He's only 20 years old, guys. Like, it's just something reeks. Something reeks. At first, I thought it was Connell who set this up to make himself look good, but I'm starting to wonder. I'm actually starting to wonder if somebody did set it up to either like as a warning or they just really wanted him gone. Like, that's like, I don't think he has anything to do with it. At first I did. My husband thinks it's totally, he has something to do with it. But I'm starting to think that perhaps there was other motives and he might not have known about it. Except with the exception of that weird fist at the end. I don't know what that was about. That seems staged. But yeah, I still think it's absolutely crazy. So the Republicans are losing their minds because one thing they love is a good old nasty piece of blame pie. And guess what? When the blame points back to them, they're not having it. They're so upset that this man they're probably upset, number one, that he's white. And they're probably really upset because he's Republican. Because they're just scratching their heads like, wait, what? This is not what we were expecting. Very interesting. People are bending themselves into a pretzel, pointing at Biden. Now listen to this nonsense. They're going to say, oh, a few days ago, about a week ago, Biden said that he has a bullseye on Trump's back or something, some kind of quote. How you go from talking about the man don't got no sense, he got dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, brain eating amoeba, how he got all that, but all of a sudden he's out here ordering hit jobs for Trump? That's number one, make it make sense. Number two, okay, during the insurrection of January 6th, people died. Now, it wasn't in the same manner at which it occurred yesterday, but Trump's inciting violence and those people raiding the Capitol building, like, people died. And there were people that died that day, and there were people that died after from the stress, from the PTSD that took their own lives. But yet nobody, like, he still hasn't been held accountable. Trump has still not been held accountable for those actions. But you're going to blame Biden, who wasn't there, whose brain is like half rotted. You're going to blame him to say that he set this up? Something reeks. Something reeks. It's not, the math ain't mathin'. They not making sense. And so, again, blame pie is just so delicious to the Republicans that they're mad. They are so angry that they can't blame, who they want to be the usual suspects. I think there's so much that's going to come out. I think it's really hard to declare anything. Like, I hear people saying different things. Who knows? Like I said, when this first happened, I thought it was all staged on Trump's end. I'm starting to believe that he didn't know nothing about it, but it was staged. Child, who knows? But this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I would love to hear your thoughts if you feel, bold and brave enough to share it. I said, like I said, I was going to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest because there's just nothing else to be. There's nothing else to be. Um, what was it? There was something else that I was thinking about. I did listen to somebody share. There was a reader who shared something about it, but it was like behind the scenes. So I don't know if I could talk about it. But I would like to hear. I'm curious about what other people are going to say in terms of readings and stuff about how they feel like the situation fares, what they think is going on. But I would love to hear your thoughts about what you think is going on. What else did I want to say about this? We talked about how the Republicans are mad because it's not a Democrat. The guy, what is his name? Thomas Matthew Crooks is the perpetrator's name. They said his father, I read somewhere, I haven't verified this, but I read somewhere that his dad has the same name. So it just made me wonder in terms of like registrations and things like that. Like, how do they know? Do they have the right person? Like, is it confirmed that like it's him? And a lot of people have been making comments about this person's physical appearance and presentation. Now, I would be lying if I said I wasn't one of those people. Initially, when they released the video, I was like, oh, this guy, like something seems off here. Like he seems like there's something going on. Um, yeah, it wasn't looking like he was playing with a full deck, but then here he go. He's a sharpshooter on the top of a building. So I don't know, y'all. But then there's videos from former classmates saying that he was bullied severely, and um, you just never. Who knows what to think, right? Because in this video, I swear this kid had a smirk on his face. I swear this kid had a smirk on his face talking about, he was bullied. And, then they asked him what kind of bullying and stuff. And he just didn't know what to say. So it's like, were you one of the bullies? Like, this kid said he was bullied every day. And side note, these schools don't do not a goddamn thing about these kids getting bullied. Okay? Not one. But I'm going to just leave that there and continue with the topic, because they be having all these anti-bullying laws and stuff. And the reality is most kids I come across, I don't know about here in Canada, but when I was in the States, the pattern that I noticed is that kids were afraid to tell their parents. They didn't feel comfortable telling teachers or officials because they felt 9 times out of 10 it was going to make the bullying worse. Like no real action is taken. And so it was just heartbreaking watching some of these kids go through stuff, and especially the older kids, right? Because little kids, it doesn't really get as bad. But when they start to get older, especially now with social media, things can get really ugly. So, yeah, I wonder if Trump is going to use this as, oh my gosh, I'm the toughest who ever did it, or is he scared? Like, I think any normal person would be scared unless it's fake, right? I had read something, this was not confirmed. I think he actually did get shot. They said something about the teleprompter shards got him or something, and it wasn't bullet, but it doesn't matter. Like he still got hit. Like I'm pretty sure it was the bullet that hit his ear, which is crazy and terrifying. But even if it wasn't that, it's still a result of the shooting, right? Still a result of this person shooting. What so far, no motive has been revealed or discovered. I'm wondering if this guy is like a lot of these other people, these lot of other shooters who tend to have manifestos hidden somewhere or whatever. But they're saying that there's not a lot of social media trail on this guy. I don't know if I believe that. Yeah, I don't know if I believe it. But that's what they still haven't released any discovery of motives yet. And so it is interesting because he is from that party. So I'm curious what made him go tick tick boom, what made him decide to take out Trump. And if this isn't staged and if it wasn't a warning, Trump, he definitely must have been protected yesterday, because when I see diagrams of how close it was to him getting shot in the actual head is wild. That ish is wild. Like it's just amazing. So I'm sure if this is real, he has to be shaken up about it. He has to be, you know. And then today I heard a couple things. I heard today that he chose a vice president. I just saw the headline. I don't know who this guy is. Vance? Did I make that up? Um, I want to say he's from Ohio. Yeah, Senator JD Vance. I don't know who that is. I think he's a first term senator or something. Um, I have no idea, but can't be good. Because I told y'all I'm not one of those people. When XSX Tentacion died, some people got really upset with me. People even unsubscribed because I said that, I'm not going to sit up here and talk about oh my gosh, it's so sad that he died. He was raping his girlfriend with items. Like, that's not cool. Hey, Christian, that's like, I'm not one of those people who, when people die, they get deified. You know what I'm saying? Or when something tragic happens, we're going to be out here talking about something. Oh my God. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. XXX Tentacion. Okay. Number one, looked like a whole demon. Okay. When you look into his eyes. And number two, he R-worded his ex-girlfriend and beat her up. He R-worded her with items, with foreign objects. That's not somebody I'm going to celebrate in death. Get the fuck out of here. You can't make me feel guilty. You can't make me feel sad. Like, no. It's called integrity. And, I feel bad for his family members. Just like the guy who died yesterday, I'm sad for his wife and his children because that sucks, right? But on a personal level, you were at a Trump rally. Mostly, I don't like Black people. So therefore, I'm not going to lose sleep. It sucks that you died, but I'm not going to cry over it. I'm just being honest. I'm going to be dead ass. I don't wish it on anybody, but I'm not going to expend energy mourning people who don't give a shit about me. That's where I'm at in life. I'm just keeping it real. So, it's a very fine line. And yeah, I don't know. Then also today, in addition to him announcing his VP running mate person, we find out that, was it one of the justices again, child? Anyway, we find out that a judge basically threw out the documents case, right? That was like I'm pretty sure he was implicated in crimes there. Threw it out. How ironic is it that it's the day after, right? Now, there is also something else I want to share. I don't know if y'all peep game. And this is where I do go back to my original theory that it might be fake on a part of Trump's, stage on a part of Trump's, because we know people died and got hurt, and, he got hurt too, unless he was hiding a razor blade in that fist and ketchup. But that's another story. They said, I was reading, where did I read this? Was it on Reddit? I don't remember the guy's name. I hate to do this, to identify him by his race. But there is this Asian dude, and I don't remember his name. But I've seen the article pop up in 2 to 3 places. This dude is on Trump's neck. Prior to these events happening, this dude has been coming out here. Okay, I think he's doing pressers, but the media is not picking it up. And then the last thing I read, he was calling out the media. They said, or I should say, not they, he was saying that there's been recent incriminating information and evidence about Trump on Epstein's Island, y'all. Obviously Epstein, we know that the crimes had a lot to do with young women and children. So I think they're alleging that it was a child. I don't know the details, but I know that this man has been putting his foot on Trump's neck for the last few days. And I find it very ironic that all this stuff is happening back to back. It just feels like a lot of just like distractions and stuff. So I don't like, the media has not picked it up. Isn't that crazy? This is where I feel, and I've heard somebody say this recently. This is where I feel like sometimes they all are working together, because it's one thing for a certain news publication to not pick up that story. But what about the rest of the so-called media? What about the other people? Why is this being covered up? it wasn't just his name on the list. Like this dude has some. It sounds like he has some like real information. Like it was crazy, and he was calling the media out. Like, why aren't y'all putting this out there about the Epstein stuff? So, child, who knows? Now, the next thing I'm about to share is related to that topic, but it's not. It's unfounded. This is not from a source that I can cite. Okay, this is just speculation and jigulation. Now, they said I was reading in the comments, okay, on underneath wherever this guy was pressuring the media to release things about Trump prior to all the shooting stuff going down, and somebody in the comments was like, basically, yeah, they think this is what Putin has on Trump, because y'all know how he's been tap dancing, for Putin, and breaking out the Gucci knee pads and all that stuff. Somebody in the comments was saying they think that whatever they think Putin has on Trump is related to Epstein. That's the reason why Trump has been kowtowing to Putin, and that would make a lot of sense to me, because I think it's very weird how subservient Trump appears to be when in Putin's presence. That's just my observation. Okay, I'll never forget. Was it Helsinki? I think that was weird. I don't know. Like it was just weird. I don't think it's just an admiration for the guy. Like it almost seems like there's some fear there, right? Like there's some type of puppet mastery going on. So I don't know. I think some of that could be valid. But this is a crazy year. Overall, this is a crazy year. If this is starting like this, what's going to happen? We're only in July, and the election is in November. Like, what is going to happen, y'all? Y'all, please, people, please stay vigilant. Okay, stay spiritually strapped out in these streets, because people are losing their minds. Not only do I think there'll be more events leading up to the election, but people are going to lose their mind. Like they're already. Look at how they reacted the last time when he didn't win, right? Like, I just feel like it's just going to be a shaky situation regardless. Now, I am honest, and I think that Biden needs to step down. And I think, to me, here's my thought. Kamala does have a history, and a lot, some people don't like her. But my thoughts about Kamala is this: she's the next in line. She's the next in line. Why do you need to jump over Kamala and put in some random white person? Like, I think that's weird. I think if Biden's VP was a white male, they wouldn't be going out there looking for other people to run for him. They would automatically put that person to run. So why are you jumping over Kamala so that you can find, like, don't you think that's weird? See, sometimes we have to put aside our personal dislikes and really ask the hard questions. Right now, some people are like, oh, she might not, she's not going to be able to carry it. She won't be able to win. That may be true. However, why is it that she's being skipped over? Right? Like, it still makes no sense to me. Here's another comment I want to make while we're on the Kamala subject. I've been getting so annoyed. Now, she's not really my cup of tea either, and I know she doesn't have a great track record for certain things. Let's get that out the way. However, I've been seeing a lot of stupid shit. What stupid shit are you talking about, Pressure? I've seen multiple channels posting, or even if on LSA, and especially LSA, people are talking about Kamala's not like us. She's Indian, and she's this and she's that. Guess what, numbnuts? Neither have the rest of the other presidents, with the exception of Obama. We literally had one president that was Black, and that's debatable because he's biracial, allegedly, right? So what do you mean Kamala is not like us? Like, this damn Kendrick song is getting people's heads twisted. Who gives a fuck? Neither have the other presidents. So you're going to take you're going to go after the one woman. Like, it's so stupid. Personally, I think it's stupid. Like, if you don't like her for political reasons, state that. I want to hear, what are your political reasons for not liking Kamala? I don't want to hear how she's not like you because she's biracial and because she's more Indian than Black. That's stupid. Like, I don't know if anybody else has been getting mad, but I've been seeing this shit and it's been driving me crazy. Like, y'all are missing the point. Y'all are not paying attention to the important key facts. You're getting caught up again in identity politics. Who gives a shit? Like, once again, she's not like us, but neither have the other presidents. Like, it's always been white males. Okay, with the exception of Obama. So what are you talking about? What is the point that you're making? Some people just want to sound cool and they just sound dumb. Like, I see so many people promoting this message and I'm like, if you want to talk about, Kamala's track record, or Kamala, whatever her name is, if you want to talk about that, let's talk about that. What significance? Why would you? It's like we're our own worst enemy. Like, it makes no sense to me at all. It makes no sense to me. But that's my one rant that I wanted to say. I'm sick and tired of seeing that people are dumb. So I don't got nothing else to talk about, Conald. Okay. Other than that, I do have other topics, but I don't know what to believe. I don't know if he set it up. I don't know if somebody set his ass up. I really don't know what to believe, but I do know that this is the most divided I've seen things in a while. And I think it rising to the occasion of somebody getting shot is pretty significant and unnecessary. Yeah. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know who groomed this kid to be the face of this, because something about it tells me that this kid is not, I don't know. Who convinced this kid to do this? That's what I want to know. Because at 20 years old, is it really that deep? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's from the Republican Party. This reminds me, it's not the same thing, but I was thinking about this, popped into my mind. What is it? Malvo? Y'all remember Malvo and that other kid? That was Malvo the kid or the grown man? Anyway, those two people that were going around terrorizing people in the Maryland, DC area who were snipers, and they were just killing random people. Like, that shit was terrifying because anybody could get it. You don't know, because there was the motive was so obscure. It was such an obscure motive that it allowed for random victims. And I think random victims are even more terrifying. It's horrible regardless, but random victims are even more terrifying. So here go these people going around sniping people. I think even I don't remember if it was CIA or FBI agent that died. Child, it had scared. I'll never forget. I was on the bus, and I remember there was a student that was talking to me on the bus, and he was a little white boy, and he was like, "Yeah, it's probably white male. Statistically, serial killers are white males." And I laughed so hard. Well, I didn't really laugh. Now I laugh, but it was just like, yo, these were two black dudes going around sniping people. Horrible, but shocking, because again, usually there is a profile for those type of people. So yeah, if you want to share what you think, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. That's how I feel about it. A little controversial, but I wanted to be honest. I really wanted to have a space where I could be honest about it. Yeah, but also, have a fine line. Once again, I don't wish that on anybody. I don't wish stuff to happen to people. You should be able to go to public events and enjoy yourself, regardless of your political beliefs, safely. But I know that if the shoe was on the other foot, these people wouldn't care and they'd be celebrating. Okay. So, you can't even do Black Lives Matters in peace without people getting angry and people, talking about how horrible. So therefore, again, not going to get worked up. Like, it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to get worked up about it. So the other thing that I've noticed in the news is that there's been a lot of celebrity deaths. Now, usually I don't focus a lot on celebrities, but every once in a while, I feel like there's like a chunk of people from the celeb entertainment world who just die all at the same time. Now, people die every day. Okay, people die every day. So you're like, Pressure, why are you worried about a bunch of celebs dying? Like, sometimes it does catch my eye, because I do think, now I didn't even take the time to look at what's happening astrologically, because I do think that has a lot more relevance than people think. I used to be one of those people who would dismiss it and be like, this is a joke. But I don't know. I've been paying attention to a few things in the last couple of years, and I've seen some parallels between major astrological events and certain things. And I didn't get a chance to look today to see if any of these connect the dots with these things, but I did notice. Um, Again, I just wanted to share in general that these people had passed away. So the first person I want to talk about is Richard Simmons. Now, Richard Simmons was 76. And even though he's from way back in the day with his workout videos and stuff, I think I remember growing up seeing him, and I don't remember where, but I remember seeing Richard probably talk shows, like they would have guests and stuff like that. So I'm thinking he must have been on talk shows, but I remember seeing him quite a bit in my childhood. And he always had those short shorts on, and he always had that curly fro. And personally, he just always seemed like such a nice man to me. I'm pretty like I did he ever come out as gay? Like I don't know, but anyway, I always liked Richard Simmons. He always represented the warm and fuzzies for me. And yeah, I know that like a few years prior to his death, he had become kind of a recluse, and he's just kind of gone inward. I think he might have been sick. I don't know because he's been very private. But I do want to say rest in peace to Richard Simmons. I remember as a teenager, when did I start working out? I started working out like for real. Um, my first introduction would have probably been like my teens, not like serious, but just I would do workout videos and stuff. But anyway, I just remember he always had positive messages about exercise, moving your body, eating healthy. And for some reason, that stands out to me. That stands out to me a lot. Health is wealth. And that man is 76, but I think he was working out and things, up to the end. So may Richard rest in peace. Also, I don't know tons about her, but I remember different friends mentioning her. Dr. Ruth, I'm just going to say that freaky white lady. She's a German American sex therapist. And I believe she had a late night show. I've never seen that, maybe once, but I've never really seen it. But she would always be, I think she would give advice. And, she's a sex therapist. So, but she passed away as well. Yeah, I think yesterday she died. She was 96. So Dr. Ruth passed away. I don't know if any of y'all watched her or know who I'm talking about, but she was a big name. And then the other person that shocked me was Shannon. Is it Doherty or Doherty? Shannon is from 90210. She's also from Charmed, my show. I love Charmed. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and rewatch Charmed. Now, she did get replaced on this show by this other woman. And, let's keep it a buck. I've learned in recent years that Shannon was very difficult to work with. I think she's kind of like lightened up, over time, but there was different factors for that, they said. But basically, she got into it with a couple people on a couple of those shows. Charm, she didn't get along with, was it Alyssa Milano? I think it was Alyssa Milano. They had beef. And then on 90210, I think she would get into it with people. Like they labeled her as difficult. And I think she's even like prior to her death, she's even alluded to the fact that she's had her moments and have gone through things. And to me, that stood out to me because a lot of times these celebrities, they will get called out for stuff, but they don't acknowledge things. I believe she was diagnosed with cancer. I want to say she's been battling this for a while. Like she's a fighter, y'all. Like I think 2017, if I'm not mistaken, when I was reading the articles, she had been diagnosed around then, and she's been fighting. And then I think she might have even had a little moment of remission, and then it came back, and it was like stage 4. But she was a fighter. That's a long ass time to be fighting the evils of cancer. And then she passed away yesterday. And prior to her death, I remember, because y'all know I'm a big LSA head, and I was reading, there was, I don't know how long ago it was within the last 2 months, I'm almost positive. Within the last couple months, there was a article posted, and she basically had called out her ex-husband and was like, look, he didn't sign the divorce papers. And she was like, she thinks that he's trying to wait until she dies so he can get her money. And this was not long before she passed away. And it made me sad. And I looked into the circumstances as to their divorce. And I believe that while she was battling cancer, this mother trucker cheated on her. And so she ended up like leaving him as she should. So, now she's fighting cancer alone, or, whatever, like, she's not a partner. And I just think that's so sad. That's horrible. And yeah, he never signed the papers. Like, I'm like, that's just wicked to me. He just wants this woman's money. Like, it's just, oh, it's like, dude, and especially since he did her dirty and he cheated, have some fucking respect and dignity. Like, just leave it be. And so I don't know, child. That rubbed me the wrong way. That's not okay at all. But may she also rest in peace. That's a lot of deaths. There might have been other people, but those are the people who stood out to me. And then it reminded me that what's his face had died. Is it Luke Perry? I'm like, that's these people be dying young because Shannon is only 53, and I don't remember how old Luke Perry was, but they were both from 90210. Now I watched that a little bit when I was a kid. I don't have a lot of memories about it because that's 90s, but yeah, that's just it's sad. That's very sad. Um, but I felt who was it? Did I forget anything? I do think going back to the initial topic about Trump, I do think leading up to the shooting thing, I had been hearing more words spread about him being tied to Epstein's, files and things, and you know, this is where let's go to this. Let's go back here. This is where I really struggled because let me see how I want to say this without being messy. There are people on YouTube and on the internet, but um, who will say really crazy things like black people are, sick if they're Democrat, and just weird, just weird shit, right? And I'm like, okay, if we go with that narrative, how do you explain this, and this? How do you explain away these things, right? As a black Republican, like, and here's my thing: you could be whoever you want to be, but if you're gonna, if you're gonna make broad generalizations like that, you're gonna need to come with some receipts. Like, that's crazy to me. That despite all that has been said and done, you as a black person, like, just tell me you don't care that the person's racist, because that's the first thing I'm going to ask you about. And the next thing I want to ask you about is, what is so great? What did he do for you that you can overlook all of those things? Like, if you're truly about preserving yourself and, you know, whatever you want to look, however you want to look at it, how do you look past certain things as a person of color to promote someone? Like, and then people get really caught up because they get just as blindsided by the bipartisan shit. Yes, I'm left leaning and I identify more Democrat, than anything else, and progressive. However, I'm not stupid enough to believe that there aren't effed up people on both sides who are also equally racist. They just know how to cover it well. They know how to reach certain people. See, that's where people got me fucked up, because just because I identify as a liberal person doesn't mean that I don't see the corruption on both sides. Okay? Some of these people are working in tandem to keep us down in the mud. And if you truly believe that I'm more worse off because you're a Democrat and you're drinking a Kool-Aid and all this other stuff. But it's just like, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for you to explain. Other than, now, here's my caveat: you can't use homosexuality or abortion because those just, no, you just can't. You're gonna have to come with other receipts for me, and I'll be waiting. Anyway, it's just crazy to me. Like, this just bringing out lots of things in people. This happened 4 years ago. Like it creates a lot of polarization. I know it did for me. Like I'm honest about it. During that election with Trump, I'll never forget. I went to bed because I was definitely one of those people who didn't think he would win. I was nervous, but I didn't think he'd win. I woke up the next day and heard that orange piece of shit had been voted in, and I screamed in my bed. You hear what I'm saying? I screamed. I'm not making that up. I literally screamed, and I just couldn't believe it. And then that was when I started to really give the side eye to especially white evangelicals, because I grew up in a church. Now, I didn't grow up in a white church. I grew up in a West Indian church, but I've been exposed to a lot of different people from going to school and living in different places, and I came to realize that some of the people I needed to be on most on guard about were white evangelicals. And because at the time, I don't know about this round, but at the time, they were the main ones championing Trump as like God's chosen one, and which still blows my mind to this day, because the man's been charged with, accused of so many unsavory things. Can't even say, I'll never forget this. He said 2 Corinthians, not second, 2 Corinthians. But I digress. Um, I just I just was so disappointed, and it made me realize that a lot of people who smile in your face, not that I didn't notice, but it was just a different layer. There was just a lot more people that I didn't trust. Um, I had already started pulling away from church then, but that definitely sealed the deal for me to know that so many Christians voted for him and propped him up, and felt like there was a prophecy about him. It was just weird. It's just weird for me, and I just pulled away from a lot of people, black and white. um for me, it was a polarizing issue. It wasn't back then. It wasn't even about being Republican. It was about, how can you identify with this man who literally embodies all of these isms and schisms? Okay, embodiment of it. Let's go through the list: misogyny, xenophobia, racism, classism. There's so much there. I couldn't understand how anyone could overlook all of those things and say, this is the best that I can do. This is the best. Okay, especially if you are a white person out here, and I don't care how many type of Christians you are, I don't trust your ass. Okay. And that's when I really started to realize a lot of things. And it really changed me forever. And it made me side eye a lot of evangelicals, because it's not just the white ones, but it made me side eye a lot of evangelicals. Okay. I don't fuck with them. Sorry, not sorry. Like, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy to me. And I realize how much religion, not God, religion has really subjugated people to shenanigans. And yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Like, I really truly believe, and again, I'm just at a place in my life where I'm just going to be honest. It's not my intention to offend people. I'm just being honest. Like, I feel like religion does rot certain people's brains. I think religion could be beautiful, and I think that it could be fulfilling and amazing. But I also think that religion rots people's brains. And I also think it makes them susceptible to being, yeah, used for certain agendas. And because what they label as conviction, I believe, is just having a very small core, and it just messes with a lot of things. And this is how I feel about it. I'm dead ass, and I'm not just talking about Christianity. For me, that's how I grew up, so it's the one that irks me the most. But yeah, I still believe in a creator God, but I don't mess with organized religion like that, because that's exactly what it is, organized. And it's just used, in a lot of ways to mess with people and to get people to do what they want people to do and to distract people. And it's infuriating. So that being said, like I said, I've seen a lot of people, quote unquote, oh, there's my hour, fall from grace. And what does that mean? Like, people who I respected and looked up to, I just realized you're just a hating ass hoe hiding behind Christianity, and it really shattered a lot for me, because it was just like, if you truly believe the gospel, if you truly believe in Jesus, if you truly believe in God, how can you identify with such a hating ass motherfucker? I said it. I don't give a shit who want to get mad. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Okay. If you're offended, I'm not sorry, because we all get to have our opinions. But what I do invite you to do is debate me or write in the comments. I'm totally open to conversing with you, but I'm not open to walking back my statements to make you feel better. Nope. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you for being here. Thank you to those who will listen to the replay, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.